Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what that condition is, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never, ever alone. Now, here on Invisible Condition, we understand. We get it. Life can be tricky sometimes. Sometimes it can even be really hard, especially dealing with a condition that you can't see, right? I mean, I'm the first one to talk about that, man. I was born with a condition that has required me, I'll just say it that way, to have 7 brain surgeries so far and 15 surgeries overall. So yes, things get tricky. Things can be tough. But there is always hope. Okay. So I just want to make sure we all know that there is always hope. If it's been a while for you and you don't remember what that hope feels like, join us here. It's a great thing. Hope is a beautiful thing. So I do want to talk to you real quick about one thing before we bring our guest on, and that is our show is, by the way, we're in season 6, baby. This is, I can't even, like, we just started season 6 like a week ago, and I am so excited so welcome to season 6, everybody. If you've been watching for a long time, thank you for your support. Thank you for being here and watching and growing with us over the last 5 seasons. Thank you for being here. It's an honor to be here to serve you on this show, and it's been a blast, and we're just getting started, I feel like. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and no matter where you're watching from, you could be, anywhere in here. You could be watching Facebook, YouTube, E360, Apple TV, whatever, Roku. Thank you. And if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you can always comment. So let me know what you're thinking. If you hear something during the episode that's like, whoa, hold on, wait a second. Wait, that's not what I heard, or that's not what I learned in school. Throw a comment in there. Let's chat about it. So, and also last thing is, if you know of somebody that would love to partner with us in some way, advertising or product placement, I've got a very nice shelf here. We could place something there, on the set. So, anybody that wants to get the word out about what they're doing, I'd love to talk to them. So, all right, let's dive in here. I am very excited to introduce you to my guest today. Torrence Jackson is going to be with us today, and he thinks of himself as a catalyst for change, and as such, he is dedicated to finding the best solutions for the next generation to become all they were meant to be. So currently, Torrence serves as a director of corporate partnership at the Masters Apprentice, consultant to schools and education forums, and a life coach and consultant. So Torrence lives in the Denver metro area, not that far from me. We're only about an hour apart. I'm in the Colorado Springs, so we're pretty close here, and has 2 amazing teenage children. And we're going to talk about all this stuff. We're going to dive into all this today. So let's bring him on and dive in here. Torrence, man, thanks for being here. This is awesome.
Hey, Jeff, thanks. Great to be on the show. Really excited about today.
Nice. Me too. This is good. This will be fun. So I got a question for you that I ask everybody that's on the show, because I like to hear the answer, and they're all different, and they're all unique, and they're all perfect. So the question that I have is, everybody goes through that rough, like those rough times, no matter what the condition is, no matter what the situation is, there's good times, there's rough times. During those rough times, how do you still maintain hope?
Oh, that's a really great question. One of the first things that comes to mind, there's many ways, but gratitude. So there's always, no matter how difficult the circumstance or situation, there's always things that I can look around, be grateful for, whether it's relationships, the things that I have, I mean, as literal, sometimes I've got to go, man, I'm thankful today for the air that I get to breathe, because there's a lot of people that wish they'd been able to have that day to be able to breathe. So I would say one of the key things is really being grounded in gratitude. It has a huge impact on me, shifts my mood, but more importantly, it shifts my mindset and my perspective, that things will get better. Because that's sometimes the unbelief is like, man, this is a permanent situation, when a lot of times it's really not. And so sometimes it's just even that acronym, hold on, pain ends.
Nice. It's been a while since I've heard that. That's good. I like that. I've heard hope. I've heard that broken down a bunch of ways, but I like that. I like it. Sometimes that's what you got to do, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. For sure.
Nice. Well, so when you first started working with students, so you're working with, you work with students in like really difficult situations, poverty, prison, broken homes, like it's like rough stuff. What challenges, like what's the toughest part? Like what's the challenge that sticks out the most?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think one of the big challenges is everybody's coming in from different stories, different situations. So you're doing a lot of problem solving. You're, stepping with people in the difficulty of their mess, and that can be heavy, day to day. So for our staff, for myself, just finding ways to recharge, which I think is really important. So how do we stay sharp? By recharging, making sure we're taking care of ourselves first. So it's the whole analogy, the plane's going down. You put the mask on yourself first before you take care of someone else. So that's very important. So I think that, but the beautiful thing is, even in the difficulties, we have an incredible team that is just really perfect for the job, not just with experience, but they've really walked through some of the similar things that our students are struggling with. So to be able to speak hope and truth to them in those situations, to go, hey, I've been there too, me too. And let me tell you my story. And those things really help lift people up. And that's one of the beautiful things about your show, right? Is, man, so many people are in situations and just really struggling. And they may find your show to go, wait a minute, if it worked for her, if she was after years, or he was, then they find, that hope, back to hope that they didn't have before. Yeah. So I would say that's one of the difficult things, but it's also one of the beautiful things that we get to do daily. And then there's tons of commonalities in our struggles, right? Sometimes we think that we're so different in those moments, but it's really finding the commonality to go, wait a minute, this is the same for me as it was for you. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, everybody's situation is so unique because everybody's an individual, and everybody's dynamic is different with their family or whatever. Yeah. But you're right. I mean, when it's happening to you, it always feels like it's this is the only person this is ever happening to. But there's so many commonalities. So So just so people can understand kind of what we're talking about in general, just tell people a little bit about, in general, what you do at the Masters Apprentice and what they're going to find when they go to that website. If they scan that QR code, which I highly recommend during the episode, when you scan that, not if, what are they going to find, and how are you helping people?
Yeah. So we address several problems that we currently have here in our great country that a lot of people don't know about. One significant problem is we have a huge problem in the trades. And so 5 years from now, the gap that we're going to have is going to be over 500,000 jobs needed here in the trade. So I'm not sure if you've tried to find a plumber or electrician of late, but it can prove to be very difficult. And as our current workforce is aging out and retiring, we're looking over our shoulders and going, where are the workers? And so that's a huge, huge problem. And then in our workforce, just in general here in America, we're needing more and more workers every day. As families are having less and less kids, as kids aren't really stepping up in some of the ways maybe that we did 30 years ago, it's looking a lot different for the workforce. So we're addressing those two problems. But then the third problem that we're addressing is, how do we create a career path for people who are coming from lower socioeconomic situations, environments, homes? How do we create a pathway for them to have the better life that they've always dreamed of? So Masters Apprentice is a 6-week pre-apprenticeship program from 8 to 3 that we have students, and our students, sometimes people are like, oh, students ages 6. No, for us, our students are ages 18 to, somewhere in the 40s. but our sweet spot, our median age is 22 through 26. And why I say pre-apprenticeship is that we give them all the soft skills that they need to get into a 2-year or a 4-year, typically apprenticeship program in companies. Right. And so once they get into a company, they're getting paid while they learn. So they're going to school to become an electrician, but they're working full time. So they're getting in that start of the career, full pay, full wage. And it enables them to start what we call a transformative life and a transformative career. And so in our 6-week sessions, we'll start with over 500 applicants. And by the time we start our session, we go all the way down to just 80 spots. So one of the beautiful things about that is we're kind of getting the best of the best of those 500 applicants in session. So we really do a great job of vetting and trying to get to who we think has the most potential for success. And throughout the course of a year, we'll have 6 of these 6-week sessions. And this year we'll graduate over 325 students. And so far in our 11-year existence, we've graduated over 1,000 students that we've put into the trades. And so we started 11 years ago. Very small nonprofit that was birthed out of another organization called Save Our Youth. And the reason I'm bringing this up is this is one of the issues that I think we still have, especially in some of our impoverished or lower socioeconomic areas right here in Denver, that a lot of times our female students, and I used to be a high school principal, so our female students will come out of high school and they kind of have a plan and a direction. And some of our boys are like, what do I do now? And so they started it, right? They started 11 years ago out of this, man, let's just try to help the boys. And so let's do a wood shop and maybe we can make tables. But they quickly learned that these young men couldn't read a tape measure, didn't know fractions, decimals. And so fast forward 11 years later, now all of our students get things like career prep. How do you build a resume, interviewing skills, eye contact, making phone calls. Even as something as simple, and I don't know if you discovered this with your kids, I have with my own, but how do you have a proper and professional voicemail when somebody calls you? That's what going, right? And then we go into things like construction math, conflict management, financial literacy. Now that you're making all of this money, how do you budget, interest rates, buying a home, things that unfortunately, I'm sad to say, as an educator, that we didn't do a great job of teaching in high school. So we're really in 6 weeks. I mean, it is like drinking from a fire hose, giving these men and women jobs and opportunities for careers in the trades.
I love that because there's so many people that are, well, first of all, I don't know about you out there, but I had no idea that there was such a shortage coming up. Like that's crazy urgent right there. I mean, we just had our, what did we do? A couple months ago, we had to have our dishwasher fixed or something. Like who's going to, who?
Right.
I don't know how to do that. No way. I'm not the tradesman, I'm not the guy that does that. So I don't have a clue. So you're right. You gotta get and you're talking about the lower socioeconomic portion of the population, right? That are like, maybe nobody's gone to school in their family. Maybe they've never achieved, a certain thing, or like everybody's been living in the poverty level of income. And now they're going to be able to break that cycle and because some of these trade jobs, man, they pay. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody's checked out the rates that these guys are getting paid, guys and girls are getting paid in these industries, but you can totally break that financial cycle with some of these gigs that you can get out of these schools. So, I don't know for sure exactly what the exact amounts are, but I just know my son, for instance, Nick, he was thinking about going to welding school. He ended up going to a 4-year university because he got a full ride scholarship instead, but he was really excited about welding and he wanted to use it in the auto industry. And he's like, okay, we'll trade. And then he was looking at how much welders make. He's like, okay, that's much better than working fast food, and so that's what I think, that's part of the education too. It's like, look, you can lift your family out of whatever kind of
I love that you're saying that. Right. Because for us and the work that we get to do daily, and it's not the same, but you could almost say, a condition that is not seen, invisible, if you will, is how hard it is for these families, these students, to break through the stigma the mindset that has kept them, so many of their families, just kind of in those situations where they don't want to be. And so now all of a sudden there's this beautiful opportunity for our students to be the first ones to own their own home. They're the first ones to have a 401k. A lot of our students now own more than one home, right? And now we see single mothers who are like, man, I've had to work 3 jobs just to try to provide, that they've now bought their first home in only year 2 of being an apprentice. So it's a very, very powerful opportunity that we get to be a part of. And when I say transformative too, you'd be amazed that when you find people who are really hungry for breakthrough change, they're tired of being, broken. They're tired of being, whether sick and tired, all of that, right? And then all of a sudden they find people who come alongside of them with belief, help show them the path to their own internal healing. It becomes transformative because they really want an opportunity. They don't know how to get there. And we come alongside and say, hey, here's the path to the trades, but also let's talk about all these other things that you need to learn to be prosperous as a family member, in your community, wherever you go. So it's this really beautiful intersection that we get to bring at the Masters Apprentice.
That's awesome. I love that because it's so many, you don't know what you don't know is what it is, And so if you've been raised, it's like the story about grandma, why do you cut off both ends of the ham, and like, right. And like everybody in the family cuts off both ends of the ham to put it in the pot and to go in the oven. And like, it doesn't make any sense. Nobody knows what the reason is. Well, back, 100 years ago when great grandma was doing that, they had a small pan and the ham was too big. And so they cut off the ends. Now you've got a huge pan, but you still cut off the ends of the ham. So you just don't know what you don't know. You got to learn the rest of the story, and that can move you forward,
Yes,
so,
exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Well, so is there, obviously, we're going to go to a break in about a minute here, but is there, when they go to this website, is the idea is that they would reach out to you? Is there a contact info in there? Like, there's an easy way?
Yes, there's contact information all over the website. So there's several ways to get involved. Sometimes it's a student that's probably watching your show, or a lot of times it's a family member that's like, wait a minute, my grandson or my son or what have you. So they can go to the website. We'd love for them to apply to be a part of our program. We also have volunteer coaches who are the ones that really help make our program go behind the scenes. And these are retired men and women who want to give back to the community. So we're always looking for great coaches to be a part. And I'd love to, the next segment, talk a little bit more about that, because that's really the secret sauce. Masters Apprentice.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, keep that. Yeah. Keep a pin in that, man. And we will definitely dive into that as soon as we get back from the break. We're going to do that right now. Everybody stick around. There is more to come and you're not going to want to miss it. This is good stuff. So stick around and we'll see you in just a couple of minutes. All right. Hey, everybody. Whoops. There we go. Now you can see it. All right. I would really like to talk to you about something before we go to an actual commercial. This is my hybrid commercial, as you will. So I, just in case you weren't sure, if you haven't been watching for a long time, I am a certified coffee nerd. Okay. I'm like straight up coffee nerd. And I have been for years. And I absolutely love great coffee. If a bag of coffee does not have a roast date on it that's within the last couple of weeks, I don't know if I want to drink it, because you never know. It's got to be fresh. It's got to be small batch. Like, it's all the good stuff. And so that's why I really love Mike, and that I met Mike. He runs Roast to Order Coffee, and they get it. Okay, they get it. They roast the beans fresh. They ship them to your door. They're always coming up with new stuff, right? It's not just, no, you have to buy this bag of beans and that's it. They have all kinds of amazing varieties, flavors, types of coffee, types of delivery for coffee, right? So instead of, if you have a grinder, get the beans. If you have a Keurig or like an espresso or something, get the capsules. If you like tea, get some tea. Whether you love like Ethiopian light roast, espresso, decaf, flavored coffee, he's got you covered. Mike's got you covered. He listens to his his audience and says, what do you want? And they tell him, and if it's something that's great, then he'll do it. You can even do an e-gift card and coffee subscriptions, right? So I know we're only in October, but Christmas is coming. Okay. So jump on it, get that coffee lover in the family a coffee subscription, and they'll love you for it. So use the QR code on the screen there, and you will get a 20% discount on your first order. So love it. Looking forward to you. And by the way, when you do that, let me know, comment on the show and let me know what you think of it. Cause this coffee's incredible. And remember, I'm a coffee nerd, so it matters. So, all right, here we go. I will see you in just a couple of minutes. Stick around.
Hey there. Every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
Are you being priced out of healthcare? Tired of the prices skyrocketing and having to go to doctors dictated by a network? We feel your pain and have the solution, a nonprofit approach that is ethical and affordable. Take a moment to learn about a way that works better and feels better than health insurance.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Torrence, thank you for being here. This is awesome. I'm so excited for people to hear more of the story. This is good.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is cool. So for something that we talked about in the first part of the first segment, we were talking about like you don't know what you don't know and that kind of thing, and people that are in this cycle that they feel like they can't get out of, right? That I don't know why, but this story keeps popping into my head, and it's short. Don't worry. It's two guys sitting on a porch, sitting in their rocking chairs, and he's got a little like a hound dog sitting over here, and he's just howling away. He's laying on the porch, but he's just he's just howling. He's miserable. He's howling away, and the one guy looks at the other guy. He goes, "What's wrong with your dog?" He goes, "Oh, don't worry about him. He's just laying on a nail." He goes, "Why doesn't he get up?" He goes, "Oh, it only hurts enough to howl."
Yeah.
Sometimes that's where people are at. It's like you don't know what you don't know. You're like, well, life is supposed to be tough, right? It's supposed to be tough. I'm supposed to be in poverty. I'm supposed to be No. You just don't know what you don't know yet.
Yeah, man, that's a very funny story. And I would say, in many ways we get to help that but poor old dog sitting on the nail, because our students are the ones going, I'm ready to get up off of this nail. And, there's a small percentage of our students, the population that we serve, who are coming out of incarceration. It's not the majority, but there is a reality, is that for African-American men, the 3.6 is the higher. There's a higher percentage of chance for them to go into jail, and for Hispanics as well, it's at 2.5. And so a lot of the population that we serve are comprised of African American men and women, Hispanic females, and of course we have all the other races represented as well. But one of the things that we're doing is we're helping stop the recidivism rate, because once they get out, they're like, man, I don't want to go back in. What do I do? How do I become productive? Right. And then they find an incredible job in the trades. And so there's another organization right here in Denver called the Second Chance Center. The gentleman that runs that, he was incarcerated for 20 years in New York and now has been out for 20 years. But guess what? He has his own HVAC and plumbing business, and now is the director at the Second Chance Center. So we have story after story after story like that. But on the front end, which a lot of people don't think about, right? We have another problem. Is how do we stop people from coming into the system? And so one of the beautiful things about our organization is we help men and women get on track faster and sooner with their lives. And so now they've got a big enough why, right, to stay out of trouble. Like, man, I can't go do that thing on the weekend because I've got a great job I've got to wake up to on Monday, or whatever that looks like. And so we're really helping create better lives on the back end, but even on the front end, because we know how anybody that's unproductive, how dangerous that can be in all of our lives, especially for this generation that's coming up, right? So we really help solve a lot of those issues and problems just simply because of the type of organization we are.
I mean, idle hands, right?
Correct.
Yes. That's where the trouble starts sometimes.
Yes. Exactly.
Well, and sometimes they don't have the example. Like some of it, I don't know if this will dive into a rabbit hole that we don't want to go down, but when there's in my humble opinion, and in a lot of the research that I've seen, over the last 40, 50 years, as dads are not in the household, as two-parent households, no matter, I don't care if you're black, white, purple, green, or orange, or plaid, or whatever, it doesn't matter. It might be more prevalent in one community or another, but the consistency is when dads aren't in the home, there's that just sets up for more trouble. They don't have that example. And so is that part of kind of what you guys address too? Or is there organizations you partner with that, or is there, because that's
Jeff, you're so smart to just even bring that up. And, I think the rising statistics of many of our problems in the United States of America can come right back to the home. Right. And there's all kinds of situations and, however, I think you're exactly right. And one of the things that we do find is that the majority of our students are really coming from a home where a father has never been present, or if he was, it was very, very volatile, very inconsistent. In many situations like that. And so one of the things, and I wanted to talk about this, so I'm glad that you brought this up. One of the powers, the secret sauce of our program is we do have men and women who are in that fourth quarter of life. So, they're retired, but there's only so much golf and pickleball and traveling. And you're like, man, I've still got some really great years in my life. And so over 50 of these volunteers volunteer anywhere from 3 to 5 hours a week, and they teach our construction. They teach the career prep. And so they're former, trial lawyers, they're former financial analysts of Charles Schwab, all different walks of life. Most of them aren't even from the trades. Like, they have no trades experience. You don't have to have trades experience to be one of our coaches, but you just have to be willing to meet people where they are and be willing to share your life with them. And it is this beautiful collision of two groups of people who would normally never intersect, our students, with, people of affluence and great success in life, giving back, and they're giving to each other. So our coaches walk away going, this is the best time I spent all week, because I walk away feeling fulfilled by serving other people. And so we have a lot of students that come in with stigmas, right? So a lot of our students, unfortunately, just as a byproduct of their life, have racial stigmas. Like, man, this population, this race of people are always going to see me like that. I don't talk to them. They don't talk to me. They're dangerous. They're all of that. That's very much a reality here in America. But when you've got all of those people intermeshing, and this group of coaches who are like, no, I'm for you. Let me talk to you about, man, you just got your girlfriend pregnant. Let's just talk about that. Let's go for a walk. All of a sudden it's like, what? There's another man. Yeah. We heard a story. This was a story just last week. One of our coaches sat down with another young man and took him out for lunch. And he said, I want to thank you, because I've never had a man spend an hour of his life with me ever in my life. So imagine this 24-year-old young man who's never had another man sit across from him all of his life for an hour. So the impact of that is incredible. And so we're really seeing some really great things. And I will tell you this as well. A part of the thing that we are dealing with in the trades is, and in here in just America, is suicide rates are increasing. And in the trades, we have the highest second suicide rate behind oil and mining. And so that's kind of an unspoken and invisible thing that most people don't know. I didn't know until I got into this work and just happened to stumble on it because I was videotaping someone at the company and somebody mentioned, well, we lost her 2 years ago. And I kind of started asking questions. What do you mean? And then she died by suicide, and only to find out she was 24, but the same company had lost a 54-year-old who had been there for 25 years to the exact same thing. And so as Masters Apprentice, as an organization, and other companies are starting to awaken to this. And so I'm actually a licensed suicide prevention trainer that goes into companies and talks about this and trains our students as well. And a lot of people are like, well, why is it so high in the trades? Well, part of it is there's a lot of times you're lonely on the job. It can be very isolating. You know, you've got your team that's working on a bottom floor and you're all the way on the 10th floor for 3 weeks. There's travel. In our industry, alcohol and substance abuse is pretty high, right? It's a blue collar world, so it's more socially accepted and has been for years. And so there's a lot of dynamics that add to it, but very thankful that I get to be a part of a group of people all over the country who are awakening to this and like, man, we've got to do something about this in the lives of our community and people.
Totally. I love that. Well, and you said you weren't addressing that problem, but you totally are, because you are, because if you're bringing in all these people, and I'm guessing you probably are never going to run out of the need for more of these people in this fourth quarter, as you say, so if there's anybody out there that's in that category that would like to help, I mean, go to the website too.
Please,
because
go to the website.
I mean, you would probably love an unending list of those men and women to be able to walk these young people through, because that's what restores the dignity, and that's what changes the family tree, and that's the beginning of it. Because if they can and changes their mindset, right? Like if somebody's sitting there like that young man that was like, I've never had somebody do that for an hour. That's insane to me. That's crazy. But it's some people's story. So if you can be that person, that's like, of course they're going to find value. Yeah.
And it's this beautiful pay it forward concept, right? So we're getting people at the right time, ages 22, typically to 28. And we've seen, because we've done this long enough, and this is true of any of your listeners, like be a mentor to somebody in your community. Find somebody in your neighborhood or your church or somewhere where you can just go, and it's not complicated. It's just really like, hey, how do I just do life with you? Right. Yeah. And life will naturally bring up the things that you need to talk about. But part of it is just really making ourselves available to other people. And to part of the beautiful thing of what you've been doing for now 6 seasons, by the way, is teaching people like, man, you don't have to have all the answers, but just show up and be available. And I remember in some of my most tragic personal times, so there's some very, very hard things. I don't remember what people said, but I remember that they were there. And I think that's critically important, is just to remember our presence really matters. And so what we're trying to do for our students is to teach them and model for them the exact same things you talk about on your show is, man, don't just be an electrician. Be an electrician so that you can be successful to change your family, change your neighborhood, change the places that you touch. Being an electrician just happens to be the conduit for that change. Be the best electrician ever, or plumber or whatever it is, so that provides the integrity and the credibility. So we're going after it. I know a lot of organizations, yourself included, are really just going after true change and making a difference.
Love it. Well, and what I have a feeling that there's people out there right now going, well, yeah, but I screwed up so bad. Oh my gosh, I'm in this situation. I'm in that situation. Oh my God, this is irreversible. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. Whatever it is. Look, life doesn't have to be perfect to be amazing. So because you, I mean, come on, 15 surgeries in, man, 7 brain surgeries. Perfection. I'm never going to have a 6-pack, man. I got scars everywhere. Like, there's nothing perfect about this guy, but I don't have to be perfect. I know I can't be perfect, and so, but that doesn't mean that life can't be awesome. You're awesome in the midst of your imperfection. That's just how it is. So,
and I know that just from hearing from you, one of them, and I'd love to hear from you more on this actually, but is one of the things that I try to teach our students is you are set up for success much more so oftentimes than someone else your same age who has not walked through what you've walked through. And the reason why is because they've been forged by the fire differently. They've walked through difficult situations and obstacles because there's the life, right? But the trades can be tough. It's not the easiest of jobs. It's very rewarding, but the temptation to quit week 3 days in, whatever, is always there.
Yeah.
But when like, man, I can do hard things. I've been through hard stuff. This won't break me. This will help make me. It almost becomes your superpower, right? What you thought was a deficit, what you thought was your hang up becomes your superpower, really.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree, man. I totally relate to that story. Yes, that's my story too, man. I mean, for the first 36 years on this planet, that was probably 8 or 9 of my surgeries happened in, before I was 18. And then I had a nice long break, and then I've had 6 in the last 12 years. And those 6, especially the 4 brain surgeries, 2 in 2014, 1 in 18, and 1 in 21. And those 4 have really shaped who I am now, because we have, I credit my parents for a lot of this, because when I was little, when I was in elementary school and junior high and stuff, they're like, look, yeah, okay, you've got it. So there's a shunt back there. And okay, so don't bang your head against stuff. Don't play football, whatever. But really, you can do whatever you want. You're not limited. You're just, every once in a while, you might have to have surgery. No big deal. Go be a kid. Go live your life. And so that's what I did. And so I've been snowboarding for 30 years. I love to get out and do stuff. I love to travel. I love to. And so when those adversities came in those last 10, 12 years with the four brain surgeries in a row that really could have wrecked me, we're like, okay, well, what do we do now? You can either quit or you can pivot, and you can, right? Like we both know Gary Barnes, right? He's been on the show a couple of times.
Yeah.
Launch and adjust. But you have to launch first, and then you adjust. And that's how it works. And so that's been the story of my life for 12 years is okay, brain surgery, launch and adjust, brain surgery, launch and adjust. So it's a thing.
And your parents sound like amazing people. I bet they are. To a very small degree, we get to be the voice of your parents to these young men at Masters Apprentice, right? So, the story could be, unfortunately, you lost both parents when you were 15. But that's in the past. It's helped shape you. It could be, man, you were incarcerated for 7 years, but look at all that you've done and come through. And now, right, looking in the past, we're going to waste that energy. It's just going to drag us back. That's why the rear view mirror is much smaller than the windshield, right?
That's right.
Move forward, learn from our past. It's part of our story, but we get to have a bright future if we move towards it.
Nice. Yeah, it's true. I love that, because every once in a while I'll catch myself, like I've heard that saying before, the windshield, the rearview mirror, and I'll look, like every once in a while I'll catch myself looking in the rearview mirror. I'm like, whoa, nope, can't do. You'll get yourself killed looking in there for too long.
Right, exactly.
That's not going to end well. Yeah. So totally. Yeah, that's a fantastic analogy. Well, I'll tell you what, man, we are there again. We're going to go to a break, and then last break of the show, and then we're going to come back, and I would love to hear you've said you've had hundreds of graduates from your school. If you are so inclined, let's hear let's talk about some success stories, man. I love hearing all that stuff. So bring it on, man. We'll
love sharing.
Yeah. We'll cover that on the way back on the third segment. So everybody stick around. You're not going to want to miss that. Talk to you soon.
Hey everybody, Craig Tomanini here, founder and CEO of Ask Craig T, and I wanted to do a quick reminder about our podcast every Friday, 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. You can find us on YouTube and on all of our social media platforms, so be sure you tune in. Don't miss all the valuable information we're going to give you about how to scale your business using technology.
Hey there. You know, every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
Are you being priced out of healthcare? Tired of the prices skyrocketing and having to go to doctors dictated by a network? We feel your pain and have the solution, a nonprofit approach that is ethical and affordable. Take a moment to learn about a way that works better and feels better than health insurance.
Hi, I'm Jake, co-founder and CEO of One Hope. My friends and I started this company in 2007 out of the back of this truck on a mission to enrich people's lives through wine. Today, we've grown into a state-of-the-art Napa Valley winery that proudly houses a portfolio of award-winning wines which have touched lives through over 40,000 nonprofits at home and around the globe. And it's happening every day. Being rooted in local communities and contributing to initiatives that uplift neighborhoods, celebrate cultures, and promote community. It's what got us here. You see, through every bottle sold, your purchase can make a direct impact on the causes you care about. One Hope's cause of choice has given back over $10 million and counting.
Hi, I'm Sarah Stockham, and I'm host of Simply Sarah. Join me Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific on the Achieve TV network for the best energetic tools to elevate your amazing life right here on E360 TV.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you, Torrence, for being here. This has been awesome. I hope you've been getting something out of it because I have.
Yeah, thank you. It's been great. It's been great.
Been awesome. So, and by the way, everybody, if you're not sure what the heck we're talking about because you're just coming in, go back and watch the rest of the episode because it's great. But also scan the QR code, go to the website. You can learn all about what the heck's going on here and what we're talking about. So, please scan that and you can talk to, or if you have questions, you can reach out to Torrence directly. So, when we got done talking about all the amazing things you're doing, all the stuff that it's changing lives and worlds and everything. Let's talk about some of those that have been changed, man. Let's talk success stories because you said you had how many hundreds of people that have already gone through your program, graduated?
No, over 1,000. Over 1,000.
Nice. There you go. Even better. So, all right.
Yeah.
Well,
I love telling stories. We got some great stories that I think really highlight everything we've been talking about. So the first one's just about this young man. His name is Ricky, single father, raising a 4-year-old, came through Masters Apprentice, did really well in our program, got a job, but just kind of ran into some life stuff and got laid off from his job. Came back to Masters Apprentice. And to be honest with you, him getting laid off was probably his fault for a myriad of reasons, but came back, which I think is critically important, to come back to community, come back to people who, love you, even though that's hard. It's always hard for us to return when we make a mistake. Oh, yeah. But he did. He went through a program again, and now he's been in a successful company for like 2 years, is now raising this 7-year-old, doing an incredible job. And so much so that there's a lot of the company practices when it comes to customer service engagement. They actually now have developed modeling after Ricky. So pretty crazy. Erica is another story. Go ahead.
Can I just say something about Ricky's story real quick? Like that speaks volumes about what you guys do at Masters Apprentice, because he could have got laid off and said, forget this, man. I'm out. I'm going to go back to whatever and go do some crazy stuff or go whatever lifestyle he had before. I mean, he could have gone back in the dump, man. And he didn't. He chose to come back to you. So whatever you did the first time he went through stuck enough that he came back to you. So that's pretty awesome.
Thank you for noticing that. You know, a lot of people, I would say a lot of organizations, and I've been a part of them, that, you know, they say they care about people. I will tell you, we certainly care and love the people that come through our doors. And that looks like it's different for different people, right? Everybody's coming from different walks of life, but it's tangible. And our students walk away and know that. They know, like, man, I can always, just like, I would hope that we could always go back home to mom and dad, right? They love us no matter what, hopefully. But I would say we are the same way. So yeah, it's been great. But another story I want to share was about Erica. So Erica, her parents died when she was a junior in high school. So just trying to figure out life, came to us from another state, actually slept in her car for the 6 weeks to just get through our program. She believed in it that much. Did incredible, was one of the leaders in our program, now has been with an electrical engineering company that does traffic lighting all throughout Colorado and 20 other states. And after only 3 months, she was employee of the month at this organization that has over 300 employees. And I asked her, like, what do you think it was that they recognized as employee of the month? She said, well, I did what you guys said. I was curious about everything. I was always asking my leaders, like, hey, can you show me how to do that? She said I was hungry. So if they wanted us to go to Vail 4 hours away, she's like, I was the one that just raised my hand first. I was hungry for opportunities. And so just an incredible success story from, you know, your car to your own place. And the program works so well for Erica that she called her two cousins who are both single mothers in Georgia. And they came out and went through our program last year. And now both of the cousins have jobs as well, along with Erica. So just crazy story. And then I can tell you how much time we got. You got time for one more?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we got about 5-6 minutes left. So go for it.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
okay,
we got time.
So two more then.
All right.
So so Ty kind of represents what we were talking about, the smaller percentage of our students that maybe come from incarcerated situations. But he spent some time in a prison here. He was supposed to serve 7-year sentence. Did really well, got out in 19 months. And this is probably 5 years ago. A member of our organization who's not with us now, but went down to the prison and just talked about Masters Apprentice and passed out a pamphlet, you know, black and white pamphlet, nothing fancy. But something's stuck into the soul, heart, and mind of Ty. And so when he got out, he went to a halfway house for 11 months. He said, according to his words, he hated it, but he did what he had to do. And he held on to that pamphlet after, 2.5 years? And it's like, if I can just get the Masters, and got to us. And now fast forward, now he's a full-on journeyman, and they make a lot more than I make. They do really well. Yeah. So incredible, successful career. And part of his story too, I think a lot of people are like, man, to your point, Jeff, like, man, my past is too large. I can't get over this. There's just no way I'll ever. That's not true. And when it comes to the trades specifically, there's a lot of companies, a lot of organizations that are actually looking for individuals like that, because they're like, man, we want to be able to help. We want to be able to give back. And we feel specifically called to this. And so there's a lot of companies that do hire. Now, some companies, because they're doing federal work or in hospitals and schools, they can't just because of their type of work, but there's a lot of companies that do. So that's another great story. And then the last one is this young man named Quan, who works for one of our plumbing and HVAC companies now. And part of my role is finding the companies. So if anybody's listening here, you know of great companies in the Denver metro area that are looking for great people, because that's a huge problem that we solve. Companies are looking for great people. And when you're just getting people off the street, it can be completely hit and miss versus a student that's been in a pre-apprenticeship program like ours. And there's others as well. But they've shown that for 6 weeks, they're willing to do the hard work. We vetted them from 500 to 80 people. So you're really getting some of the best. But one of those best of the best was Quan, who was raised by a single mom in Philadelphia. And he just knew, he's like, man, I want, just like the show, born in Philadelphia. Anyways, he knew, he's like, man, I got to get out of here. According to him, he felt trapped, just wasn't a good situation. So he came from Philadelphia to Colorado, part of our program, and now is in his 4th year at this plumbing HVAC company and doing really, really well. Wow. So there is this element, and I think there's elements, and you probably could say this about a lot of the guests on your show. There is this piece that when you are really in a place of struggle, darkness, if you will, difficulty, there's this faith element. Like there's this piece of like, I've got to believe that maybe there's something out there. I've got to believe that I can beat this diagnosis. I got to believe that one day I can use this weakness to my strength. And our students who come to us, whether it's small or large, all have got to have kind of those faith muscles to some degree to take that step that they normally wouldn't. And it's a step out of comfortability. It's a step out of maybe oftentimes when even, to be honest with you, sometimes family members discourage us from taking those leaps of faith, not out of hate, spite, it's out of fear and love for us. And, and so we talked about those societal things, and we've had a student in particular a couple of months ago that, after getting in our program, she had 5 job offers, and we found out she didn't take any of them. And, she's coming from the kind of one of those homes where it's like, man, women don't do that kind of work. Women only cook and clean. And so she went back to, unfortunately, well, maybe from our perspective, we wish she would have taken the job, but she's back to being a cafeteria worker. Wow. So not all the students break through. There's some that unfortunately just from different dynamics, but we have an 80% placement rate as far as students going through our program and getting, which is one of the highest for sure in the country, as far as students graduating and then getting jobs in the careers. So. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, what this all reminds me of is, it's gotta be your choice, right? It's gotta be your choice to change, right? Like like that dog sitting on the nail, right? When the pain of change is less than the pain of staying the same, you'll change. That's how it works. Yeah. And so, and like nothing has a 100% success rate. So it's not, but you hope for the best and, so, well, hey, Torrence, man, thank you for being here. This has been awesome. I am now my brain is like exploding with ideas of places that I need to introduce you to now. So we're gonna so this is not the last time we're gonna talk, I'm sure. But thank you so much for being here. This has been an absolute awesome episode. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. It was an honor and privilege to be on the program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, man. I love that kind of stuff. That's so cool. Okay. All right, everybody. Man. So, okay. By the way, thank you for being here. If this is your first time here, like this is cool. I'm excited to see you here. I'm excited to have you here. If this is your 200th time being here, thank you for being here. I love you all. This is all fantastic, and I'm so glad you're all here. No matter where you're watching, if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, E360, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, do it. It'll remind you when the next show's on. It's great. Most of you probably already know that. The like, the share, the subscribe, all that stuff is second nature. So join us for our next show, which will be on what date is our next show? Our next show is going to be Tuesday, October 14th. Good Lord, I can't believe we're already in mid-October. So join us for that. And until then, have an amazing day. And thank you so much for being here with us and being such a huge part of this show for so long. And welcome to season 6. And we'll see you next time.